Welcome back. How are we all doing this morning? I'm sure we are all doing fine by the special grace of God. I'm sure we are blessed this morning. We woke up strong, healthy, and grateful for life itself. Yeah, I actually woke up strong, healthy, and I'm grateful for life itself because I don't know what happened to me last night. It wasn't easy, but I thank God that I am actually here now. I am alive. I am strong and I am healthy because honestly, I don't know what happened. I just had a serious stomach, whatever that was. I don't know. But I'm happy I'm doing fine this morning. I am alive and I'm grateful for life itself. Like I said, I'm so grateful for life itself. I'm grateful. So, how are my Black Diamonds doing? I'm sure we are all doing fine. I'm sure we are all happy. We are healthy. We are alive as well because if you're not alive, you won't be here with me. Okay, so Black Diamonds, let's continue with our story. We started the story yesterday, right? About the caretakers. Now, so I don't remember very well where we ended yesterday, but I'm just going to continue from somewhere. Obviously, we always have to start from somewhere, so we are going to continue from somewhere. Now, I want to believe we had reached the part where this lady had to ask this young girl from the village that the parents had promised to send back to school after 2 years. This lady had to ask for this girl to come live with her. Remember, we said she had a gardener that was also living in her compound, but not with her in the main house. So she wanted someone to live with her in the main house. And so, since this young girl had passed her advanced level and had no means of going to school, she requested for this young girl to come stay with her. Remember, she was just 17 going to 18, right? Yeah, that was her age. So before this young girl could move to the city to meet this lady, remember as well that this lady we said is a nurse. She was a nurse by profession and had squandered all her husband's inheritance, what she inherited from her husband, his multi-million company, his mansion. She was living in one, and then one was already sold, and her kids had abandoned her because of the way she squandered their late father's wealth. So they had abandoned her as well. So she was practically alone, and this little girl had to come stay with her in town. So what she did, she had a very bad plan. Like, this lady was up to something because she was already financially unstable. She could not manage herself again after living in that kind of luxury for 2 years, traveling from north, south, east, west, traveling the whole world. She had built a standard that she felt she could not maintain that standard with just her salary. She could not maintain that standard. So she had very war, put it in my little pidgin, local pidgin, very war plans. And it was all about buying somebody. Now, she asked this young girl to send her a copy of her ID card so she could prepare some documents, legal documents, before this young girl would come stay with her. Ignorantly, this young girl, she sent her a copy of her ID card. And this nurse of a lady, what did she do? She took this ID card and went to an insurance company. That is, she forwarded all the necessary documents to the insurance company to get a life insurance. Now, when it comes to insurance companies, right, you can save like monthly for your life insurance. So if you're not there tomorrow, you could actually fund your own funeral in your absence. You could get some money that could help your kids in your absence through your life insurance. Like the money the insurance company is going to pay your family will be of great help when you register for a life insurance. So this woman took this girl's documents that she sent to her and registered her for life insurance. So what she did was to make it look like she is the young girl because she did it online. She did everything online, called the company, or the company called her and they talked, and everything was set in place. Now, this is what she did. She made the company to know that because now she's identifying herself as this young girl. So she made the company to know that if she is not there in the near future, the insurance company should give her life insurance to her auntie. And the name that was mentioned was this lady's name. Remember, she had not even moved to town to start living with this lady, and the lady is already using her documents to do her kind of things, to just prepare herself for some riches because she had gone bankrupt and didn't have money to sponsor her rich lifestyle. Okay. Now she used this girl's document and her documents, and she made this life insurance when the girl had not even moved to her house, like the girl had not even left the village. She did that and she started paying for the life insurance. She started paying the life insurance. Now she paid for 3 months before this young girl finally came to her house to live with her. They were living nicely. When she came, she was warmly welcomed. They were together with the gardener in the compound. So this girl was like, she was living her best life at that time, living in little luxury, though there wasn't that much money, but at least her salary could give them a beautiful life. So she was living in a little luxury, taking care of the house, being part of the house like company, because the lady was actually living alone in her house. So everything was looking very fine until after a year and 2 months. That is, she lived with this lady for a year and 2 months. Remember, this lady had already started paying the life insurance on this young girl for 3 months before she moved into her house. So after a year and 2 months, we are at 1 year, 5 months life insurance payment that this lady has been making on this little girl without her knowledge, because she didn't even know that something was going on like that. Now she was close to her 2 years of going back to school the way the parents had promised her to give them time to be able to raise some funds to send her to the university. And living with this lady as well, she had a package every month that was something like your salary for accepting to move in with me, live with me. That was what the lady had promised her. And the lady had told her that she will keep the money since she wanted to use the money for her studies. She will keep the money until after the 2 years, then she will give the money to her. So she was just so happy and waiting for this lady to give her her money after her 2 years must have elapsed, praying and hoping as well that the lady could allow her stay in her house while going to school, because during that period she created a bond between herself and the lady, living with her like her own child, worshiping the very ground that she set her leg on. And she was actually praying that this lady will allow her stay in her house during her study period. At least that was just so okay, that was just so fine, because she will still be of help to her. We still give her that company for her not to stay alone. And even if you don't pay her, that was still going to be okay, because just the accommodation and the feeding is more than enough of the salary to give to her. So she was very okay with that and was hoping everything will go well. Anyways, all of us, we are always hoping for the best, right? Little did she know that it was already time. This lady was she was running out of cash completely. Even her salary felt like nothing to her anymore. So she needed cash and she wanted to realize her plans as fast as she could do that. She wanted to realize her plans of collecting the huge sum of money the insurance company will give her. Now, remember, this lady had sold one of her husband's mansions. I don't know, because to me, if I were her, I could have just given out the mansion, the second mansion on rent. That's going to fetch me a lot of money. And then I moved to a smaller apartment. Okay. She could have just been that smarter to like give the mansion on rent and then move to a smaller apartment. I don't want to talk about selling because it was obvious that or it is already obvious that this lady is not good in business, because if she was good in business, she couldn't have squandered her husband's multi-million company, and she wouldn't have squandered the money she sold the first mansion. So obviously she was not good in business. So I would not advise her to sell the second mansion, but to give it out on rent and then live in a smaller apartment, collect the money from the rent, pay her smaller apartment, and she will still have enough to live her extravagant life if that was what she wanted. But she was greedy to the extent that she just thought of the only plans that came to her mind were terrible and devilish plans. They were terrible and devilish plans. Now, this young girl, this young girl woke up one morning and found herself in a room in the basement where she had been tied already. Now, what happened? Since this woman was about to realize her plans, what she did was to drug this young girl at night, tied her up, and put her in that dark room in the basement. Okay, that was what she did to her, preparing to execute her plans, to do her plans that next day. So she had already arranged with the gardener that the gardener is going to carry this girl. And when the gardener is going to carry this girl, they are going to lie about it. They are going to make it look like she did something wrong, and the population of the town decided to carry her. But the gardener asked for a ransom, right? Is it really ransom? He asked to be paid for his services. Like, I'm not going to help you buy somebody and then you will not give me something. You have to give me something reasonable. So they made an arrangement of 3 million. They made an arrangement of 3 million that the lady was going to give him 3 million for him to execute these plans with her, and to be a part of this devilish act. Now, that was smart. I mean, if you have to get yourself involved in such devilish things, you should be compensated, right? You should be compensated. I'm not encouraging it, I'm not for it, but I think the gardener was just so right in asking for a compensation. So if there is any danger ahead, I know at least I collected some money for doing that nonsense for you. But this gardener asked for that money, but he was not paid before the execution. Now, he helped this lady in paying this girl, wrapped her, claimed it was the population that did what they did. I don't know how you go claiming things that you cannot even defend, because what if the family had gone to the 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 quarter where you live, the area where she lives, and make findings and realize that nothing happened like that? What could have been the consequences? But since these parents were just poor village people, they didn't even, very poor, they didn't even have the means. Like, they'll look at you, or they looked at her as like, this woman is rich and mighty, how do we fight her? We cannot fight her. She will use her money to buy herself out. She will use her money to do all the things that she's supposed to do. So we cannot fight her. Let's just go get our daughter's corpse and come bury her quietly and accept our loss, accept the fact that we have lost our child and we are not going to have her back. Okay. That was just the final conclusion of the family. So, knowing that this lady is in town and she's a good lady, because that was what they thought, that she was a good lady, they had to stay back and wait for her to make all the necessary burial arrangements and send their daughter's corpse to them. Now, this lady promised them that she was going to pay for the ambulance that was going to transport the corpse to the village, and she was going to dress her up. That was what she told the family. So during the preparations, the family just had to pick one uncle from the family and send him to town that go and help her with the rest of the preparations, everything to bring back our daughter's corpse so we can bury her. We can give her a befitting burial. We are not happy we have lost our child, but it has happened. So what we can do for her now is to give her a befitting burial. That was how they sent the uncle to town. The uncle happily went to town, saw the corpse, the late brother's daughter, his own niece. He saw the corpse, identified the corpse, and joined this lady in preparing for the burial. Now, what happened on the day of the removal? This lady went to the mortuary, gave the casket but did not give any dress. Can you imagine that? She gave the casket but she did not give any dress for this child. She did not give any dress for this girl to be worn on this girl. So it was the same bed sheet that this her corpse was wrapped in, that her body was also wrapped in, placed in the coffin, and then you could imagine the kind of car she rented to send this corpse to the village. It was something that no one will even smile about it. And the uncle had he had no option but to just agree and go with what the lady was saying, because if he had said no, definitely it could have been something that he would have to start looking for another car, get a dress to dress up the lady, the girl. He didn't have all that money. Like, the uncle was so broke as well. Remember, he's coming from the village. All the family members of this girl, they are in the village. They are barely living. They are living from hand to mouth. They have a lot going on in their lives. So they were not rich. And so the uncle could not just oppose anything that this lady was saying when he got to town, because he was not financially buoyant to pick up that responsibility and take the cups. And there was no time for him to, like, okay, I'll communicate with the family back home in the village, let them contribute. Where will the money come from? He already knew the situation. He knew everything that was going on. So he just had to go with what the lady offered. And it was not an easy ride. A journey that was supposed to take them few hours to the village. Like, the journey was supposed to take them like 12 hours to the village, but they finally got to the village after 28 hours. They got to the village after 28 hours because the car itself that was given to them to take these cops to the village was nothing to smile about. And it kept having breakdowns and breakdowns and breakdowns and breakdowns because it was not in good condition in the first place. It was not in any good condition. So it kept breaking down, and they'll fix it and continue just like that until they finally got to the village after 28 hours. That is a day and 4 hours extra for a journey that was just going to be 12 hours. They finally got it, double an extra 4 hours. Now, when they got to the village, that was when the family realized that what the lady had promised is not what she did. She did not dress up the girl, and the car she gave to transport the corpse was horrible. So the uncle was explaining his ordeals to them, everything he had to go through. And can you imagine, guys, that this lady herself did not go for this girl's burial? She did not. Now, at that point, the family was suspicious because how can our child stay with you for like a year and 2 months? She dies. She's not, first of all, a thief, and you claim that she stole something and jungle justice was done on her. That's how she cried. She stole something. She's not a thief. She has been our daughter for 17 years before she moved to your house, and you're sending her back to us in a casket after a year and 2 months, calling her a thief. Our daughter is not a thief. She had never stolen anything. So this woman's story was not clear to the parents and the family of this girl. The story was not clear at all. Hi, Jimmy. How are you doing, Jimmy? Thank you for joining, Jimmy. So the story was not clear at all. So, but the parents, they could do nothing. They could do nothing because they didn't have the money. They didn't have the powers to fight this lady in any way. They didn't have anything. So they just had to smile over it, cry over their pain of losing their daughter, and bury her. So they did what they could do there in the village. They got a dress for her, and they dressed up their daughter with the wound that had been stitched because her neck was cut off with a knife. And there at the mortuary, it was stitched. So they just had to dress her nicely, cover the wounds, and bury their child. Now, this woman, after 3 months, received money from the insurance company. Now, the insurance company from the beginning had to give her a small portion of the money because they were like, no, she has just lost her child. It will not be good. She had just lost the child. It will not be good for us to start giving her so much money right now. Let's just give her a portion of the money, like 1/10 of the money. Let her use in burying her child, and then later on we'll visit her with everything that the insurance company has to give her for her loss. Remember, from what the woman had planned in the place of the girl, claiming that it was the girl, she had said if ever she disappears from the planet Earth, if ever she dies, the money should be handed to her auntie, which is this lady, and her auntie will take the money to the village to her parents because her parents do not understand anything, and it is the auntie that is learned and understands everything, so she'll be able to take the money and the message from the insurance company and everything to her parents in the village. That was what the lady had said. So they knew, the insurance company knew that the lady, the auntie, is the one that is supposed to collect the money. So they gave her the first portion of their money. This woman collected this money. She had also promised the girl's parents that she was going to send them some money. So she collected this money, and as greedy as she is, she did not send them anything. Now, remember, she also had a salary for 1 year, 2 months that she was supposed to send to the parents. She had not sent as well. So the parents became like, they were suspicious before, their suspicions increased because why would our daughter live with you for 1 year, 2 months, passes away, a salary for the 1 year, 2 months that you were keeping for us to send her to school? You did not send it to us. You promised us extra money for the funeral or for our stress, our pain. You did not send the money. All of that, you have not done anything. So is actually happening? What happened to our child? They became curious again. And in the midst of all of these family members, there was one uncle that was landed as well. But at first, he had not been involved in anything. But when it came to his notice that the lady has not sent the girl's salary and the lady doesn't even want to give them what she promised them, the uncle decided to handle things by himself and started making a lot of investigations that the parents had neglected. The uncle started making these investigations. Now, how did she die? They had photos, they had pictures of her corpse and everything that they had seen on her body. So the uncle had to go to town, to this same area that this lady lives with, and the lady, their niece also lived there with this lady. He started making findings upon findings, questions and questions and questions, and realized that this young girl was barely known by a lot of people. I mean, only the people she was buying things from that knew her, because she would buy all the time. Her auntie would send her to go get stuffs for cooking, to go get stuffs for the house and all of that. So very few people knew her, and there was nothing like jungle justice that happened here during the time that the auntie claimed she was murdered through jungle justice. There was no jungle justice during that time. I mean, the people of the area said they have never had anything like jungle justice in their area, so they don't understand how someone died through jungle justice when they don't even know about any jungle justice in their area. Interesting, the uncle was far more interested in this story. Meanwhile, on the other side, the lady had waited for a period of time again for the insurance company to send the remaining 9%, like the remaining because they had given her 1/10, so she was waiting for 9 10 of the money they are supposed to give her. I mean, that was going to be a huge sum of money, because usually these insurance companies will not give you just what you were saving, you were paying monthly for your life insurance. They will give extra, and it is usually that much. So she had also been on the neck of the insurance company. Oh, you are supposed to pay this amount of money, you are supposed to give this money. So she had been, instead of being patient and wait for the insurance company to look for you by themselves, give you the money, she was very, very impatient. Like, greedy people are always very impatient. They just want to grab everything immediately. So she was very, very impatient, and she didn't know that her impatience is going to land her to what is going to happen, or what was going to happen next. Now, so since she became so persistent, she was like, give me the money, give me the money, you're owing me this money, you have to give this money, I have to take it to the village, the parents are suffering, blah, 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 blah. The number of excuses she was giving, the number of things she was saying. So the insurance company also became suspicious. Like, this girl, she registered not long after she died. Did she know she was going to die before registering under our insurance company? What happened to her? So they also became curious. They wanted to know how she died, what happened to her, why would she register under their insurance company, and such a tragedy happens to her. So they also started making findings, like this registration was done online, all the payments had been done online, though we have all her documents, we have everything, but we we would like to know what actually happened to her. We would like to find out what actually happened to this girl before we will be able to pay out the remaining 9/10 of the money that was left. That was how the insurance company also got involved in investigating the death of this girl, and finally realized that because this girl never came to your insurance company, she did everything online. So at the end of it all, they realized that it was the auntie all along, the so-called auntie, who did everything. It Since it was done online, there was no proper investigations before registering everything. They realized that it was the auntie all along, because even with the recordings of the calls that were made, the parents could not recognize the voice as their daughter's voice. It was not their daughter's voice. So apparently it was the auntie that did everything. She was the one that made the call, changed her voice to pretend as if it was a teenager's voice, it was a young girl's voice, and all of that. At the end of the day, the parents finally found out that the girl died in that compound. There was no jungle justice. Through the help of the uncle, there was no jungle justice. There was nothing. This girl was quite in that lady's house. So the lady was arrested. When she was arrested, she now had to revealed that she was not the only one that was involved in this, that the gardener was also a part of it. And the gardener on his part was crying that you have not even paid me the money you were supposed to pay me. The 3 million we agreed on, you have not even paid me the money. And now I am going to jail for something that I did not even collect. I mean, it could have been better if I collected my pay for it, right? It could have been better if he had collected his pay, but he had not collected the pay because the lady had not given him the money. Come to think of it, she didn't even have the money. That's why she was struggling to get the money from the insurance company. Maybe she planned on paying him after collecting this huge sum of money from the insurance company, but at the end of the day, she did not get the money because the family discovered what had happened to their child and had to lock her up. After proper investigations from the police and all of that, the lady was finally sentenced to life imprisonment, including the gardener. Though the gardener had 20 years, he had 20 years because he was an accomplice, and he was the one who actually murdered her, but he was not the brain behind the murder. So he was given 20 and this woman life imprisonment. And this family had to be compensated by the insurance company. They gave her all the money that was supposed to be given to this woman. They gave it to the family of this girl. I mean, this is amazing. It is so amazing that at the end of the day, the family did not only lose their child, but they were compensated. I mean, no amount of money can bring back someone's life, right? But the fact that this woman did not take this money, she was not the one who finally got the money. I was super happy about that. I was really, really happy about that. That justice was served. She had to go to prison, and the money that she was fighting to squander was given to the right family. Though they were not the ones who did the registration and all of that, they were not the ones who paid the regular monthly life insurance fee, but they deserved that. For the sake of their daughter, they deserved that. And besides, remember, she did not pay her for the 1 year, 2 months that this girl stayed with her, doing house chores, cooking for her, keeping the compound clean as well. She did not pay her. So the family was fully compensated with that life insurance. Now, there are several lessons I gathered from this story. Let's start with the woman. Now, or let's start with the late husband. You don't go about, you don't own life, right? You're not the owner of life. Look at how things happened. He was claiming his wife will not inherit anything from him because he's getting a divorce. At the end of the day, he was the one who died and left the wife with everything because he didn't even have time to change anything. Now, we don't own life, and life is not in the palms of our hands. No, it's in the palms of God. And sometimes we plan evil, and evil comes back to us. It comes back to us because maybe if he had not planned all of this, he would still be alive, right, to enjoy his world. And secondly, I said before that it is very good for families, for couples, right? If you have your husband, you have your wife, and you have a business, carry them along. Carry your children along in your business. Be able to learn and know how this business runs, how it functions, everything about the business. Had it been this man had showed his wife, or maybe because the marriage was not going well, but at least he could have showed his children, though they did not inherit it, but he could have showed his children. And if he had carried even one of his children along with him, maybe that inheritance could have gone back to the child that had learned the business and not his wife. So it is always good as a family, if we have any business we are doing, carry your spouse along, carry your children along, teach them how to do this business you're doing, teach them how to get involved, show them everything that you have to show them as far as this business is concerned, so that if life doesn't give you a chance the next day, you know that your family, your wife or your children, they can handle your business very well. Because if this lady had known a lot or knew a lot about this business, right, she could have been able to manage it properly. Even if she wouldn't have done that by herself, at least she could have listened a lot to the manager of the business, and she could have worked hand in hand with the manager to make sure that the business flourishes and not die down. Okay, so please carry your spouses, your children along. If you're a business owner, carry them along, teach them. Greed. Now, this woman, God gave her a second chance in life to enjoy wealth. The world, maybe, I don't know, maybe she built that empire, that business and everything alongside the husband. Maybe she was there, she took care of him while he was building, she took care of the kids while he was building. And when it came to that level, I don't know how the marriage was going. Maybe the marriage was not all that rosy, that's why the husband wanted to divorce her. Or maybe the money got into his head and all he had in mind was to divorce the lady and then become greedy as well. But life didn't give him a chance. Now, you, the nurse, that a second chance had been given, or maybe a chance had been given for you to reap the fruits of your labor, you decided to be greedy. You decided to be extravagant. You decided to squander everything and you went back to zero. After building a life of luxury, it was so difficult for you to stay without that luxury. You started planning evil to buy people to be able to make enough money to continue your luxurious life. Now, it is not advisable to just jump into enjoyment, squandering money on a business you barely know nothing about. Because if you knew how the business was functioning, maybe what was standing there was just the capital. You went in and started squandering everything, and at the end of the day, everything is gone. And that brought a lot of greed and evil thoughts in your mind. So greed brings a lot of evil. Greed brings a lot of evil. So we should just be careful how greedy we get, because when you become greedy, you start thinking about things that you're not supposed to think of them. You start planning evil. Evil plans will just start crowding your mind because of the level of greed that is in that same mind. And it's not every job that is a job. It's not every job. This is to the gardener. It's not every job that is a job. I mean, if your madam says kill somebody and you took it as an opportunity to make some money, that is not a job. That's criminal act. And at the end of the day, you went to jail without even receiving the money. Then to the parents of this girl. Now, I don't know, but I want to. I'm not very sure, but I think parents are learning every day, except those ones that are living in the village in abject poverty, that they are not exposed out there to know the evil that is happening out there when their kids go to live with other people. It's like 1% of people really have a heart to treat other people's children right. Most often, we are all very wicked. I'm not part of it, though. I can never be a part of that wickedness. Most people are just so wicked when it comes to other people's children, even when they are working with you as a maid, a cleaner, whatever they are doing in your house or with you, even in your company. Very few treat people's children right. So if you have your child that you want to send somewhere to someone to go and stay so that life can be better, keep your child. You people should go and work in the farm. Go and work, go and do farming. You will survive. Do the farming and save the money. You will survive. You will survive and you will still have your child with you. Not the one that you send somewhere, the child will work like a slave, and at the end of the day, some will even chase the child out of the house without any compensation, without anything, or some of them come back to you in caskets, in coffins. No, 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 no. Keep your children. We have come to the age where everyone is so protective of their children. And with the amount of rape, promiscuity that is out there, no child is safe, be it boy or girl, female or male, no child is safe. So my humble advice, keep your kids, help them yourself. They'll definitely survive. Poverty has never killed anybody. We stay in the poverty, but at the end of the day, we survive. And some of the children that come out of poverty, they are the best. Trust me, they are the best. Better than the rich kids out there. Better, better, better than them. Better than them. Okay, guys. We have come to the end of our story. I'm sure we have learned something from our story. I'm sure we enjoyed the story. We'll be coming back later in the evening with another story. We have a lot of stories to tell. We'll be coming back later in the evening with another story. And like I said before, we are going to be generating a lot of AI videos. We are going to create a lot of content. But for now, let's get our monetization back because the monetization has been taken off from us. And now we are trying to get our monetization back. So forget to like our videos. Please like the videos, comments, leave your comments, and share the videos if you find the stories interesting and you want others to learn from them. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for being a part of our live stream this morning. See you in the evening or maybe tomorrow. Let's see how it goes. Bye, Black Diamonds. Bye bye.